Right asks,
Hi Simon and Martina. My question is regarding table manners in Korea. I've heard you say a few things about it, but are there any other really drastic differences between table manners in Korea and North America/Canada?
So the video Amy was referring to was way back in the day, that embarrassing, horrible video.
I don't even remember that video.
Apartment.
Oh, the one.
Just hit you now?
Yeah, when you were wearing the purple.
Yeah, I was in my teacher clothing and I was
Yeah.
teaching this. Basically, we just ran over some quick things about Korea, which you can actually find in a lot of Korean culture books now. Stuff like pouring drinks by holding your arm, or like when you're drinking and you have a superior person that you're drinking with. Not like
Superior person!
I don't mean like superior than you. I mean like your vice president or principal or whatever. You turn away when you drink. But you guys already know those things.
Those are basics.
And if you don't know them, you can easily look up our old video, which
I'd rather you not look at that video because it's so...
embarrassing. But you can also find that kind of stuff online or in books. So what are the things that you can't find in these books, but that we've experienced in Korea now and we want to share it with you?
Well, how do you know you can't find them in books? You haven't read every book. Maybe some book is going to mention this.
True, but will they mention the following top secret information about what happens when you go to a buffet?
Yes. Sure, they're the obvious ones, like don't blow your nose when you're at the table so that you don't get your boogers in the food and you gross everybody out. But let's talk about some other ones, like how you share food at a table. Because you're going to be doing a lot of sharing when you're eating here.
I mean, so much sharing. Like, well, even in our recent video with Lee and Susie that we introduced everyone to it, we were sitting around one big stew.
And a lot of people were like freaked out. They're like, hey, you're kind of close for sharing all your food. And I'm like, nah, I share food with everybody. I share food with strangers.
Yeah, it's something you gotta get used to. So you order something like a soup and you're with more than 2 people, you'll usually get a big bowl in the center and everyone will just like reach in with their chopsticks or like scoop it out with the same spoon, and you're just kind of like, that's acceptable to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But what might seem weird to you is that it actually applies to foreign food as well. So if you go out for, let's say, pasta or like a salad with your friends, Korean people will tend to order like 1 or 2 things off the menu and put it in the middle.
So that you could share off of that thing instead of having your own pasta bowl and your own salad bowl. You know what? I just realized that I think that you might be like deep down Korean in the core, because I know a lot of times whenever you and I go to a restaurant and I order something, you're like, I wanted to order that, but I can't. I gotta order something different, because you never want to order the same food as me because you always want to share.
Well, because I want to try what you order. So if we order the exact same thing, unless it's like there's 4 things on the menu and I've had everything, like I'm not gonna share your sub. Or will I?
You do.
I don't, because you put ranch on it. Gross.
Vastly improving the quality of the sub.
But interestingly, the same thing applies for buffets, aka salad bars, as they're known in Korea, which
I
is
found this really weird. Like when we went to buffets with like some of our Korean friends, instead of like me filling my plate with stuff and them filling their plate with stuff, they would get a few plates and they would put it all in the middle. We'd have to share that together.
And they would like bring over 2 plates at the table, and I'm thinking like, you don't really need 2 plates, it's a buffet, you can go back for more. But then they'd leave again, and they'd fill up more plates and come back with more until there's like 6 plates on the table filled with
like
stuff.
There's a buffet out there, and then you're bringing a mini buffet to your table.
Yeah, that's a good way of describing it.
Kind of like defeats the purpose of your buffet.
Yeah, I want my buffet to be fresh, and I want it to be what I choose.
You're just bringing the buffet closer to your table instead of just getting your own plate of stuff.
And then I feel like I have to eat what they got, because they'll get more than they would consume themselves, since they're being polite to share with us. So that might be something you have to explain to your friends. If you go out with them, you can be like, in my country, we eat buffets on our own plate.
And hence it shall be henceforth.
Speaking of sharing, this is like our 3rd sharing comments. It's actually polite to share the first drink with people. So like, even if you're not a big drinker, if you're sitting at a table with people and they're pouring soju, at least take that first drink with them, because that's kind of like the polite thing to do. If you're totally against drinking, like you just don't do it, or maybe you're religiously against it, I would suggest pouring water in your glass, or like soda or cola.
But just sharing that communal act of at least drinking something with them the first time.
It's the idea of like it coming together and everyone being like, dang, and just like cheering and then drinking together.
Speaking of like hitting your glasses together or cheersing, what's the verb for that?
Cheersing?
Cheering? Cheersing?
Wait. How about clinking?
Clinking? There you go, clinking. Speaking of clinking.
Clinking is probably some horrible swear word in some culture that we just insulted a gang and we're gonna start like a gang fight. Like, yo, you clinking at me?
Dude, my crip walk. How am I so out of it?
Simon's also wearing fuzzy bear slippers. That might prevent him from crip walking properly.
What you gonna say, son? I killed a bear. I put my foot up his and I'll wear it.
It's more like his paw, but that's fine.
Speaking of clinky glasses, Martina, go get some so we can demonstrate this next thing. We actually have some glasses here to demonstrate.
Not that we drink here.
This is merely a prop for our Music Mondays. I didn't ever see it in a prop. Shut up! Okay, so if, say, Martina were like superior than me, like higher up in the totem pole.
I'm superior than you!
Well, in a superior rank, whatever, I don't care.
I'm the president of a company.
You're the president of the company and I'm your secretary. If we were to...
Hey, secretary.
Stop sexually harassing me.
What are you doing later on?
My wife.
Is that me?
Yes.
Oh.
Back to role playing here. Martina's the boss, I'm the lowly employee. If we were to hit our glasses together, we have to hit them on even par. I one time made the mistake of when I was with like a director, I did this by accident, probably because I already had a few shots in me.
I don't think you did this. I'm pretty sure you did this.
No, I actually like went on top of him. I hit it like this.
You're crazy, son.
I just, I had a few shots in me. My motor skills weren't up to snuff. The whole point is that when I did that, we drank a shot. He was very nice about it. He's like, hey, just to let you know, you can't really hit your glass on top of mine because it's kind of rude. I didn't even know, but he let me know. So now I'm very careful when I'm around superiors.
But we don't want to creep you out. Like, it's not like if you're gonna come to Korea and they're gonna be like, you didn't touch your hand when you poured it, and you looked at me when you drank it.
No, people are gonna hate
like
you
that.
for it. You just need to know these things after a while, so you could try to get accustomed to it.
Yeah, and also, it will impress the people that you're working with, and it will show that you're making an attempt to get to know Korean culture. And so that kind of thing, people will be like, wow, that's really awesome of you to do that, and they'll open up more about other things to let you know about. How about that meat grilling?
How about it?
It made sense in my mind.
I have no idea where your transition
I don't
is
know.
here.
Okay, so if you're grilling meat together with a bunch of people and you were either the youngest of the group or you're like the newest employee at a group, so you're at the bottom tier, like tamangne, you should probably be grilling the meat.
Right.
So you don't have to, but if you like just sit back crossed-armed and you let other people pick up the tongs and start like grilling the meat, it looks kind of bad on your half.
You should be the
taking care.
one that's doing it. Which reminds me, the last time we had a staff dinner, Susie, who's the youngest one, didn't do a lot of meat flipping and
Now,
meat grilling.
There's a reason for that. I just don't like my meat burning or being cooked in a very sucky manner, and sometimes people are just not good at grilling meat.
So we don't necessarily trust Susie or anybody else with grilling responsibilities. Not that they're bad at it. We're just very particular about how we want our meat grilled.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you a very special secret I don't think will ever be mentioned in any one of the tour books. I don't even think Martina knows about what I'm going to say right now. And there is a very specific strategy I have whenever I'm eating a shared meal with everybody. Now, what you got to do, if you're particularly hungry that day, but you're worried about other people eating a lot, you have to find one person and ask them about a topic that they're very passionate about. For example, we used to have a friend who was really interested in like Nazism and conspiracy theories about it. I don't particularly give a damn about it, but I'd like to ask him, oh wow, I heard something about gold and Nazis. Can you tell me more? And he would talk so much about it, and in the meanwhile, I'd be eating the whole thing. So this is a very useful strategy that you could have for being a selfish pig at a buffet.
He did the same thing with me in Korean dramas. He's like, so watching any good Korean dramas lately? I'm like, Simon never asks me that. And I'm like, there's this drama and that drama. And Simon's like,
About the dramas, please tell me Woo Jun-pyo. I care so much about what he does.
I do. Speaking of Simon confusing people and having them talk about topics in order to eat all the food, it's polite to serve other people before yourself.
Is that right?
Yeah, the connection was so smooth there.
I see how you transitioned there nicely.
So since you are usually sharing meals and you're sitting at a table with like one big bowl of soup often, it's actually polite to like serve the bowls off, make sure it's even, don't like give yourself all the meat or something, and then give it to somebody else at the table.
I think the idea here basically is just like try to be considerate of other people, try to put them before yourself when you're eating with them.
But see, that sounds like it makes sense, but then if you're the oldest person there and you did that,
Well, yeah, if you're the oldest person, fine. But if you're the youngest person, try to be aware of it. Try to like give stuff to other people first. Same thing like when you start at the table and you get like your spoons and your chopsticks out. Try to give everybody their spoons and chopsticks, wrap them up in tissues and give it to them so you look like you're taking care of them.
Yeah, that's something that we do no matter what. Like no matter what age you are, if you sit down at the table, there's usually like the communal chopstick bowl. It's not like everyone has their chopstick and spoon laid out like a North American style restaurant where it's there for you, right? You should just try to like pass it out.
Yeah.
You know, pour water for people, that kind of thing. Don't worry, your friends aren't gonna like murder you if you screw something up. But like we said before, it's just nice to make an effort and people will be more excited and like accept you more.
So if you guys have any awkward experiences that you had at the table, please let us know in the comments so hopefully other people can read it and learn from your mistakes.
And we don't mean like North American awkwardness. Like this one time I reached for ketchup and I knocked it over and spilled it in my friend's pants.
Oh God, what do I do now? So that's it for this week's TLDR. If you have a question for next week's TLDR, leave a question in the comment section below.
Or you can also leave a question on our website, and make sure if you like someone's question, you thumb it up so that you draw it to our attention.
And don't forget to subscribe for more TLDRs where I tell you secrets about how to be a selfish bastard.
That's not very nice at all. I'm never telling you about K-dramas ever again. I've learned. I've become cold and calloused.
Whoa, can you tell me more about Secret Garden and about how we got like foam on and stuff? I'm so fascinated.
Okay, well there's this one. Wait a second. You tricked me again. Are you gonna eat that food without me?